Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Let me go. Oh, hang on. Let me switch shirts. There it is. What about now? Can we hear it? Can we hear it? Sound good? We're having some glitches here. Let's do a sound check like this. Oh, there's that Dr. Pepper. Tara says hi. She's in the chat. Dale says cannot hear you. Ace says cannot hear you. Give me an update. We got it now. Hang on. Anthony, YouTube fan, is finally in the chat. Yes, we got noise now. There we go. So I love hearing where everybody is from before we get into like trivia and giveaways and all that good stuff and wrapping up 2022. But excuse me, Ace, for the life of me, I cannot remember where you're from. But I love hearing where everyone's from. Evidently, there's a large portion of my audience that is in England. That's where y'all watch from. So that's quite amazing to me. I love having people that are from all over the place. I've met some folks on YouTube that are from Brazil, from China, New Zealand, Germany. I mean, you name it, all over the place. Maine. Tara is from Maine. I know it's got to be cold up there. We had a cold snap down here for Christmas in Tennessee where it got down to 0 degrees. And of course, we're not prepared for that kind of weather, and it killed everything. We had rolling blackouts, all kinds of nonsense. Ace is from, I knew you were from England. See, that's part of why I wanted to do this stream a little bit earlier, because I know I've got some audience members that are about 6 hours ahead of me, and y'all are getting ready to celebrate New Year's. Anthony from New York State. New York City! All right. Liam Carrington says, watching from the... I love it! I see London. Now, can someone settle this for me, Ace, Liam? Can y'all tell me, what is the difference between Great Britain and England? Because sometimes I have friends. I've got an employee that works for me who is originally from England, and when I ask him, he says he's British. I was like, so you're not English? He says, no, I'm British. I don't get the subtlety there. If someone can explain that to me, I'm a stupid American when it comes to that. We think we know everything and we don't. Dale's from L.A. That's right, the road truck driver. So Dale, my sister actually used to live out in L.A. and I lived in San Diego, so we spent plenty of time out in California. Tara says it's actually been warm up in Maine. Well, it's about 60, 70 degrees down here back in Tennessee again. The joke is if you don't like the weather, wait a day and it'll change. We were 0 degrees on Sunday and now we're about 70. Liam says there's no difference, I promise you. Well, thank you for that. Thank you for that. So there's a big debate in my family about whether or not the name Patrick is Scottish or Irish. And of course I was told my whole life it's Scottish, and then when I got to doing name studies, there's no telling. It could be English, it could be Scottish, it could be Irish, and nobody flipping knows. Nobody does. Now, one of the things I wanted to discuss today, sound off in the chat if this holds true for you. But let me see here. Give me just a second. Studio mode. Do I want studio mode? I don't want studio mode. Turn that thing off. There we go. I am curious to whether or not we have any Superman fans in the audience. I'm sure y'all have seen a couple of the videos I've done as my wife watches Superman for the first time. She'd never seen the original Superman films. First one she saw was Henry Cavill. Of course, I grew up on Christopher Reeve. But if we got some Superman fans in the audience, I want to have a serious discussion about Superman. Anthony says it was 12 degrees on Christmas Eve. Yesterday it was 59. Next week it'll be 60. Go figure. I've been told British is nationality while English is culture. No one will care if you say either, or at least I won't. Well, thank you for that. I guess it's kind of the same thing. Like when you get into the United States, it's like, are you from the U.S. or are you American? Or are you from the? It's the same thing. America, U.S. It's all the same. But it looks like we've got some Superman fans in the chat. Been a fan since '78. Okay. Well, for those of you that saw my Superman reaction, let me get some of this Dr. Pepper here. Nectar of the Gods right there. So for some of you who saw my Superman reaction with my wife, you'll know that her first one was Henry Cavill, and my first one was Christopher Reeve. And Christopher Reeve is still my favorite Superman. So hear me on that. Hear my heart on that. Christopher Reeve is my favorite Superman. I believed I was Superman so much that at 3 years old I broke my arm, jumping thinking I could fly. I would climb up on stuff and jump off thinking that I'm going to figure out how to fly this time. And I've still actually got the itty bitty cast, and you can see that in that reaction. But the reason I bring up Superman is because, kind of like Star Wars, I found Harry Potter, the fans were very forgiving if you had a different opinion than them. It was very inclusive, whereas like Star Wars, if you have a different opinion from any Star Wars fan, they are coming at you like guns blazing, blasters, not set for stun, set for kill. Like they are some toxic fans in Star Wars. I will admit that. Well, I have found that there are some people that feel very strongly about Henry Cavill playing Superman and how they just absolutely hate him. I love him as an actor. Think he's a nice human being. And I loved him as Superman. I thought he did a great take on Superman, especially for modern day. And maybe I'm wrong on that. It's, sound off in the chat if you absolutely could not stand Superman, played by Henry Cavill. I'd like to know why. Not so I can tell you you're stupid. I'm not one of those guys that's like, oh, your opinion's different than mine, then you must be stupid. I'm one of those guys that's like, you please explain it to me. Because I wrote what I would call my dissertation on Superman last night from Henry Cavill. And again, this is coming from a guy that prefers Christopher Reeve's Superman. I prefer that Superman. And I felt the need to defend Henry Cavill's portrayal of Superman in Man of Steel. Not any others, just Man of Steel. So keep that in mind if we discuss Superman, it's Man of Steel. So Anthony says, Christopher Reeve is still the template for all live-action portrayals of Clark Kent and Kal-El and Superman. I'll give you that, Anthony. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or yes, no. If you saw Kill Bill Volume 2 by Quentin Tarantino, because at the end of Kill Bill Volume 2, Bill has a theory about what Superman represents versus the other superheroes. And it was an amazing, amazing, amazing thesis. Henry did a great job. I don't get to hate it all, just stubborn people, I guess. See, I'm with you, Liam. I'm not trying to replace Christopher Reeve. Henry did a great job. He did a great job. You can't, in my opinion, you can compare whatever you want. You can compare Star Wars to Star Trek. You can compare Maze Runner to Hunger Games. But for me, it's no comparison. It's not like I'm going to put Christopher Reeve next to Henry Cavill and say, okay, which one did better? Which one wore the suit better? They're completely different Supermen, in my opinion. Dale says, Henry Cavill Superman played well against Zod because Zod was not a villain. He was protecting his heritage. Okay, cool. Anthony says, I like Cavill's portrayal. He needed more opportunities to portray the full vision of Superman. I agree. And I know Bill's theory of Superman being a commentary on humanity. Thank you. That was amazing. I won't get into all of that. But so because there was a lot of problems in Man of Steel. I'll be the first to admit it. Continuity issues, things that just didn't add up. I've been told by people that don't like Man of Steel that Henry Cavill played a great Superman that was put into a horrible plot and screenwriting and did the best he could with a piece of crap movie. And I was like, okay, I can take that if that's your opinion. Everybody has a different taste of screenwriting and filmography and cinematography. But the one scene, I was in Discord with some people that they kept bringing up that they thought made absolutely no sense was the scene when Clark Kent allows Mr. Kent, played by his Earth father, Kevin Costner, when he allows him to die in the tornado. A lot of people said that that scene absolutely made no sense whatsoever, that Superman would not have allowed that to happen. And that was the worst scene of that movie. And what I'd like to discuss before we get into other trivia and the giveaways and the Amazon gift card and all that is why I actually think that was the smartest, most well-written scene in that entire movie, and why it actually, in my opinion, makes sense. So before I get into that, I want to check to see what y'all are saying. So Ace Edit says, I don't really watch DC movies, but I've been watching some new stuff, and when I hear Superman, I think Henry Cavill. Okay, thank you. There you go. Well, just so you know, in case you didn't know, Henry Cavill was out, then he was back in, and now he's out again because he's going off to do the Warhammer 40K stuff, which I think is an amazing, 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 amazing opportunity. So Dale Hendrickson says correct. Correct as in you don't think it's a good scene, or correct as in you think it is a good scene? Yeah, Anthony, his father cared more about protecting Clark than saving his life. Yeah. So, and I'm open to debate on this. Again, I'm not one of those guys that if you disagree with me, I think you're stupid. I just tell people and fans when they talk to me about this stuff, you know, I had one guy, he heard the commentary that I thought Henry Cavill was a good Superman. And the comment he made on the channel was, if you think Henry Cavill is a good Superman, then you hate Superman and totally don't understand the character. It's like, dude, you don't know what I think and believe in my belief system and what I feel based off of whether or not I like it. It's like, no, it makes no sense. Just because I like one person's portrayal doesn't mean I'm dissing the other one. They're two different portrayals. So Dale, okay, so Anthony's with me on this one, but Dale is not. And Dale, I'm very curious as to why that scene doesn't work for you. I'm open ears. I need you to explain to me why that scene doesn't work and why it just is no good. And then I'm going to make my argument for why I think it is from a storytelling perspective. But we'll get into that. Point is, I hate using the word debates. I love discussions about movie theories because movies are an art form that tells stories about humanity. That's what it's all about. You know, we had stories about the gods, you know, Clash of the Titans, you know, Zeus and Apollo and Poseidon, and those are the stories people lived on thousands of years ago. And now we get those modern tellings, but instead of stage plays, we have the MCU. Same thing. They just, you know, heck, even Thor. I mean, Thor is a direct carryover. But here we go. Looks like Ace Edit says that guy who commented just doesn't understand opinions. Oh yeah, and you know what was funny, Ace Edits, is I actually responded to the guy. I said, you know, you feel very strongly about this, about how Henry Cavill isn't Superman. And I was like, you realize that none of these actors are Superman, right? That he's a make-believe character. He doesn't exist. And these actors' portrayals are only as good as their talent and the way they're directed to portray the character. I was like, none of these characters are actually Superman. Well, what was funny is he started attacking one of my other commentators that was asking a question about the lack of continuity with why kryptonite affects Superman, and says, don't you understand it's science fiction, it's all make-believe. And I was like, evidently you don't, dude. So Dale says, as a human being, my humanity would not allow me to have my earthly father die in that way. Okay, so Dale, thank you. That is a valid opinion. And Dale, what you bring up is why I think these discussions are healthy and good to have with people. Because why that scene doesn't work for you is because it doesn't speak to your character as a human being, of who you are, what your makeup is. You just hit the nail on the head for what I try to get across to people when they have opinions about movies and art and everything else. Is if you're going to have an opinion, but have it grounded in something that you can defend and present, because then I will look at you and say that is valid even if I disagree with it. And I am going to disagree with it, but here's the cool thing about that disagreement is it's not based upon me thinking you're wrong, because I actually think you're right. It's based off of a different life experience. So what Dale brings up is his experience as a human being. If he saw his father in that situation, he wouldn't allow his father to die. And I'm going to extemporaneously add to that quote, if you had the power to stop it, which obviously Clark Kent, Superman, had the power to stop it. So here's my breakdown to why I think the scene worked. First off, did I hate it? Oh yeah. Did I think he should have saved his dad? Absolutely. Did it hurt me to see them make that decision for the character of Superman? Yes. But hear me out on this and why I think it was a genius piece of writing for this version of Superman. So Superman, for lack of a better term, we're going to say is all powerful. All powerful. His father made it abundantly clear, hey, you are my son and I love you, but you are destined for bigger and greater things, and it's not time to reveal yourself yet. There's going to be a right time to reveal yourself to humanity, and you're going to make a difference, and it's not yet. And in the last moment of his life, you see his father hold his hand out and tell him no. Like, absolutely not. And two things happen there. One, it's a dilemma of the moment. It's not a plan you can come up with and say, I would react this way. What do you do in the moment? And in that moment, in my opinion, Clark, not Superman, because he wasn't Superman yet, Clark chose to honor his father. And that's really what the Superman story is all about, is Jor-El saying the father becomes the son and the son the father. Jor-El passing on his heritage in his essence to Kal-El. And his earthly father, the one who raised him and loved him, had a final wish, his dying wish, if you want to call it, of don't reveal yourself now. And let's think about the consequences if he did. If he had revealed himself for who he was in that moment, he would have had to run and hide like he did after that fact. He would have had to run and hide. What would it have meant for Martha? You know, what would it have meant for his mother? What would she have had to endure the moment he revealed himself? What would his family have had to endure? And in that moment, he honored his father. So here's why I think it's a genius piece of writing. Not because he honored his father, that's a piece of it, but the one thing he could absolutely do was save his father. He had the power to do so, and he chose not to. Now, as a veteran, I don't want to get too dark, but hear me out on this. In the midst of life and death situations, in the midst of combat, in the midst of training, in the midst of high adrenaline situations that are in the moment that you really can't plan for, you have to make a decision. You have dilemmas of conscience, dilemmas of morality. You've got moral quandaries in nuances that you have to process in a moment's notice. And sometimes taking action can cause more damage than not taking action. Sometimes trying to prevent bad or prevent evil can actually cause more bad in the long run, and you don't know that. Sometimes not taking action is worse than taking action, and you don't know that either. You have to make a decision, and it has eternal consequences. And we see that in this moment of the movie. Clark makes a decision to honor his father's wishes, his dying wish really in that moment, and he loses the man most dear to him. Sons receive their identity from their father. Well, it served two roles. It served two purposes in that movie. It now takes the earthly father out of the way so Clark can get to know his kryptonite father, Jor-El. And it serves for the backdrop of what we see at the end of the movie, which I'll get into after I check the comments. So Anthony, Clark Kent seems destined to lose his adoptive father every iteration, even in Superman Lois. His dad died, true. He has to die. He has to die to get out of the way so Clark can know his his kryptonite father. So does Mom years later. It's part of his superhumanity. I think superhero fans can get very protective of their own opinions. That's why this is perfect, because it's an open discussion. Yes, thank you, Liam. I'm with you. Yeah, who would have believed that story if they denied it happened? I'm with you on that too. So hear me why, I didn't like the scene, but why I think it's a genius piece of writing. So what's happened is Clark wants to save. That comes from a place of love, to save, to preserve life. And we get to the end of the movie, and at that moment, he was Clark. He was not Superman. He was a young man struggling with powers he had not come to grips with. We get all the way to the end of the film, and what happens is he's now faced with Zod. He wants to protect and save humanity, which is an extension of what he wanted, his ultimate desire that he experienced way back when. That's why he kept acting out even as a child, and why Kevin Costner told him, you've got to stop, it's not time to reveal yourself, because he couldn't help but want to save and help people. Now, the Superman that I love, Christopher Reeve, that iteration of Superman was flawless. He had no faults. Now, we could say it was kryptonite, But that's not Superman's fault. It's not his fault that kryptonite is his weakness. Essentially, Superman was created as the ultimate meta character who is invulnerable, is flawless. He has no character flaws. He's a perfect character. Well, in humanity, and Dale said this based off his humanity. Well, based off my humanity, I've never met nor do I know a perfect human being. We all have flaws, we all have dark, we all have light. It's not one or the other. The original Superman from the 70s and 80s that I grew up with did not have those flaws. Now, my favorite scene from Superman 3 is when he battles himself in the junkyard and he battles his darker self. So we could say, oh, see, Superman has flaws. Yeah, but even then, those flaws were brought on by like a junk creation of kryptonite, like a junk piece of kryptonite that somebody made. Again, not his fault. It was presented as Superman couldn't help what happened to him. I prefer my heroes, the older I get, to be flawed, have faults, and be relatable. So now fast forward, here comes the battle with Zod. And if you remember, when he ultimately kills Zod, you remember how he just screams in agony? Completely just, it ripped Superman apart to kill Zod. And the way it's presented in the movie and the way most of us take it is it hurt him to kill Zod because it's the first time he finally meets another Kryptonian. Like, he has family now, he has people, he has nation, he has an origin, he has culture, and now he has to destroy it. I'm not buying that. Here's what I'm going to submit to you. Is in that moment, he is now faced with the dilemma, the choice of the moment. He has to choose, how do I act in order to save, preserve, and help? And the one thing that becomes a core character making piece of Clark Kent, it's both strength and weakness, is that moment with Kevin Costner when he allowed his father, when he honored his father and did not use his power to save and preserve. And now here he's faced with this ultimate challenge, and what does he have to do? He has to kill. That's not what he wants. It's not his makeup. Superman's makeup, as we all know, is to save and preserve life. And he doesn't get to do that if he wants to ultimately protect people. In that moment, he has to kill. And that's why it rips him apart. He doesn't get the, Andrew Garfield when they did No Way Home with all the different Spider-Men, and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man finally got to catch Gwen Stacy, at least in that universe, and he got that redeeming moment. Superman doesn't get that redeeming moment. There's no alternate reality. There's no alternate timeline. In that moment, he has to make a decision, live, breathe, or die. Whatever that decision is, he's going to have to live with that decision. So for me, that agony of ripping apart and completely being just destroyed by the act of killing somebody, because I'm just going to tell you, that will change you forever in here. It makes Superman that much more relatable as a superhero, because it's the choices he makes that either make him human or super. And he has to live with this flaw inside of him. And we can say, oh, well, it's the kryptonite. That's so... It's cheap. It's easy. Oh, kryptonite's his weakness. No, he has a weakness. He has a flaw now that's internalized in him, and it's made even that much more sharp inside of him because of that experience with Kevin Costner's version of his father. And that's why, for me, I think whoever wrote it, it was genius. It makes sense for the story. Now, again, do I like it? No, absolutely not. Did I want to see Superman do that? No, I wanted to see Superman go do what he does, run like the Flash, not even fly because he didn't figure that out, just run like the Flash, rescue his father, and do what they did when he was a kid. Is they're like, do you really think our son could pick up a school bus? Because, and this gets into the problems with the movie, is I say that if he'd have revealed himself, they'd have had to deal with the backlash. Well, he kept revealing himself throughout the movie and had to keep job hopping and jumping all over the world. So, I mean, they already dealt with that. There are a lot of problems with the movie. But that particular scene is not a problem for me. But what it goes to is exactly what Dale was talking about. The scene does not speak to him because of who he is as a person in his humanity and his character. And that's what makes some people like some movies and some people like other movies. I think we're drawn to stories and characters that speak to who we are and either assuage our flaws and make us feel better, or help us cathartically kind of get those out. That's why The Crow is my favorite movie. I mean, let's be honest. The things that have happened in my life, I can't do like The Crow does and run out invincible and just go wreak vengeance on all those who have done wrong to my loved ones. You either get shot or killed or put in prison for life. But through that movie, you can cathartically release all of that just angst. So there's my dissertation on Superman. There's my nerdy talk for the day. And I hope I didn't bore all 6 of you to death. But, yeah. And Dale, see, I do buy that. Dale says when he killed Zod, he knew he was truly alone. And my counter to that would be, hey, my dad's one of 12 kids. I'm one of 40 cousins on his side of the family. And whether I see them or not, there's a lot of friends that I've also made in this lifetime that are not blood. They're not part of that family, but they're my family. You don't necessarily always have to be surrounded by your own people to be with family. You're only as alone as you allow yourself to be. How many of you have I actually reached out and touched and shook hands with and given a hug to and sat down on the couch with and watched a movie? I got 6,490 subscribers. Of those, I've never met any of you in person, but I can tell you I'm never alone. But again, it just speaks to different life experience. So Dale, man, if you ever come by Tennessee, let me know, because I would love, love, love to have you over, sit down on the couch with me and the guys and the wife and watch a movie, hang out, and wax philosophical about things that ultimately don't matter because Superman's not real. Love them though. So let's get into some trivia things, because the trivia is how I am going to do the Amazon gift card giveaway. It's a $50 gift card that I've got that can be emailed directly to you. It will be a code. I don't have to send it to you in the mail. That way, if it's international, I don't have to pay $30, $40 shipping to get you a letter and a card, because, oh my goodness, international shipping kills me on some of these giveaways. Oh, I'm not even playing. But that being said, before we do the trivia, I have started, it's in edit right now, but I have started watching Star Trek with John. We have now got him to see Wrath of Khan. It's his first Star Trek movie he's ever seen. I did not start with Star Trek the Motion Picture. Not going to show that to him. If he wants to watch it later, he can. But John has seen Star Trek Wrath of Khan. I won't spoil his reaction. I'm not going to tell you if he liked it, loved it, or hated it. You're going to have to wait until I edit it and get it out. That will be the reaction coming out for 2023. That will be the first reaction coming out in 2023. I didn't know, but dadgummit, it's Paramount. It's Paramount. And boy, do they're almost as bad as WB on copyright. Tara says, I don't really remember the movie, but I found this discussion interesting. Well, thank you. 54 Young sounds great. So, 2023, Star Trek to boldly go. That's where we're going. This is going to be my Patreon giveaway in 2023. The famous scene from Wrath of Khan. I can reveal that now that John has seen it. You know, the scene with Kirk and Spock that gets me crying every time. But we won't be giving that away until we get through Undiscovered Country. So that's 5 movies. But I'm excited. And no spoilers. Don't put spoilers in the comments. But this is how great it is that John has not seen Star Trek. Is he gets to the end of Star Trek II, Wrath of Khan, and of course, you know, Spock dies, and they put Spock's body on the New Genesis planet. And of course, John knows that the next movie title is called Search for Spock. So I'm sitting here thinking, big reveal, what's going to happen? So I asked John what he thought the movie was going to be about. And he said, well, I heard that the odd number movies kind of suck. He goes, I guess it's a sucky plot, because he goes, it sounds to me like they put Spock's body on this planet, and that's where they buried him, and then they leave and decide, oh no, we better come back and get him, and some bad guys are going to stop him from wanting to move his body back to Earth. And I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much it. So y'all looking with, that's what we're going with. That's our story, and we're sticking to it. Yes, one of the best Star Treks of all time, and it stood the test of time. I actually got to see the 40th anniversary of that in theater with my dad. That was so cool earlier this year. That was awesome. Awesome, awesome. They even had the deleted scenes in it. So let's get into the trivia. Now, here's what's going to happen. Is based off of, obviously, who scores the most is how I'm going to give the Amazon gift card away. And yes, that does mean you'll have to give me your email, so you can always email it direct to me. Matter of fact, let me put my YouTube email in the chat. Patrick G. Stewart 316 at gmail.com. There it is. Come on. I'm going to pin it to the top. There we go. Because if you win, you're going to have to email me, because I got to get your email to send you the gift card. But I'm not going to ask you to put your email in the chat. I'm the one doing this stuff publicly. So this channel started with my friend John watches, and that's what it's predominantly been about, is John not having seen things. Irony being is, John's actually a sci-fi fan. He loves sci-fi movies, but somehow or another he has missed out on a huge list of blockbuster sci-fis. And actually, there was a great discussion on why he'd never seen Star Wars. It's a talking head video I did with John called Movies, Mischief, and Mayhem. And he talks about why he never got into Star Wars in some of these movies because of the toxic fandom, which is why actually he gravitates more towards Harry Potter than anything else, because the fans of Harry Potter were just gracious and amazing. So let's start. A lot of this trivia is going to be about John. Very little of it's going to be about me. There will be some things about me, but it's basically going to be how much of y'all paid attention to the channel. So starting off, I'm going to ask you in the chat, what is John's favorite Star Wars film to date? Now keep in mind, it's not just which one he rated highest, it's his favorite, because that's going to be a different question. Spoiler alert, that's question number 2, is which Star Wars film did he give the highest rating to? So which Star Wars film is John's favorite? Waiting on the answers, and this is on a lag too, because when I'm looking at my live stream and I'm looking at the chat, it's definitely a lag. Definitely a lag. I don't know if y'all noticed, got me a new avatar in there. Ace Edits, really bad guess. No, good guess, but no, you're wrong, Ace Edits. It is not Revenge of the Sith. Really good guess, but no. Not Revenge of the Sith. There's only like 23 Star Wars movies left to guess from. Anybody else got an idea? I should start playing Jeopardy music. John, tune in, buddy. He's out with his family today. Get the notification, John. Tune in. Tell it to everybody. Let us know what your favorite Star Wars film is. And yes, we actually, John has agreed to finally pick back up Andor again. We got 4 episodes in, and oh man, he hated it so bad that he straight up. So Dale says Revenge of the Sith. Nope, not Return of the Jedi. Yes, it is only the movies, they said. It's not any of the TV shows. As if you said TV shows, he's going to say Mando all day long. He loves him some Mando. But it is definitely one of the movies. It is not Revenge of the Sith. It is not Return of the Jedi. Return of the Jedi is my favorite Star Wars movie, even despite the Ewoks being in it. Objectively, I would say Empire Strikes Back is better than Return of the Jedi, but Return of the Jedi is my favorite. Dale, one of these days, man, me and you, we're going to sit down, have a Dr. Pepper, we're going to talk movies. And Ace, you are allowed to guess again. Oh, Eddie Stewart joining late. Padre, Papio. The question is, what is John's favorite Star Wars movie? We've determined that it's not Revenge of the Sith and it's not Return of the Jedi. Yes, you may guess more than once. And it's basically the first person to drop the right answer. In case y'all didn't know, Eddie Stewart there in the chat, that is my father. My Fasha. Ace, man, that was actually a really good guess. Solo, but no, it's not Solo. It's not Solo. But that was a really good guess. Much closer to what appeals to John. Which I enjoyed. Hot take, I thought Solo was a great film. I love seeing the Kessel Run. I always wanted to see the origin of Han Solo and Chewie and how they got to be friends. Eddie Stewart gets it. So I know it's unfair because Dad's my dad. All right, Dad, no more guessing. You're not allowed to get the prize. But, yes, it is Rogue One. So Eddie gets 1 point. But Rogue One is John's favorite Star Wars film, which is actually kind of why he's really not digging Andor, because Rogue One gave a really compelling story, some compelling actors, especially Diego Luna, and John's favorite Star Wars character, aside from Han Solo, is Cassian Andor. It made such an impact on him that John, before we even knew we were going to get an Andor TV series, John actually made a second video when he got home after watching Rogue One and sent it to me, because he wanted, talking about how he wanted to know more about Cassian Andor and his backstory. So John's been anticipating Andor more than any of us, and it's kind of sad seeing him just really not enjoy it. But he has agreed to get back into it. We had a misunderstanding about that TV show. We believed that it was only going to be 6 episodes, and we got 4 episodes in and thought, this sucks, where is it going? Not realizing it was 12 episodes and on a 3-episode story arc. So there you have it. Rogue One is his, not Attack of the Clones. Definitely not Attack of the Clones. All right. So Ace Edits, yeah, thought it wouldn't be that one because it was the first one you guys watched. Well, it was that one because that's the one that brought him into the universe, which is a hot take. You know, I got a lot of hate when I first started introducing Sean to Star Wars because I created my own order in which to have him watch the movies, and I started him with Rogue One. But I've also known John for going on 27 years now, and I knew what he likes, what he doesn't like. So I knew if I started him on 1977 Star Wars, he'd be done. Because he gave Rogue One an 8, and then turned around and gave Star Wars A New Hope a 2. Ugh, abysmal 2. Horrible. But he became a Star Wars fan. He loves Star Wars. So that being said, we get in now to question number 2. Question number 2 actually has to do with Star Wars again and John, but this time it's not which one is his favorite, it's which one did he give the highest rating to. Scratch that one out. You probably heard my pen on the microphone there. Jedi mind trick. Your father did not win the ticket. Dale did. Jedi mind tricks only work on the weak, my friend. And I know I'm wearing blue, but I don't have wings, and I'm not a wrinkle chin, so I'm definitely not a Watto. Ace Edits for the win on that point. Ace Edits, it is Revenge of the Sith. Just for a bonus point, Ace Edits, do you remember what rating he gave Revenge of the Sith? Ace for 1. No, it wasn't Return of the Jedi. He gave an 8 to Return of the Jedi, just like he gave an 8 to Rogue One. So he gave an 8 to Rogue One. He gave a 2 to Star Wars. He gave a 5 or 6 to Empire Strikes Back. He gave an 8 to Return of the Jedi. He really did not like Phantom Menace, except for the lightsaber battles. And then Attack of the Clones he thought was just awkward and like, what's happening here? Ace Edits, you would be correct for the bonus point. He gave a 9 to Revenge of the Sith. So Ace, you got you a bonus point there, buddy. That is the highest rating to a Star Wars film that John gave to a Star Wars film. I'd say John doesn't give 10s. He does give 10s. He does give 10s away. So another point for Ace there. He gave it a 9. He gave 10s to some videos that we talked about in some other videos, which I won't mention which ones because it's part of the trivia. Which, speaking of which, spoiler alert, here we go. Because John does give 10s to movies. What movie is John's favorite movie that he absolutely gives a 10 to? And I'll give you a hint. He references this movie in dang near every Star Wars we make. If I got somebody that's got the time to sift through my videos and pull out every reference John makes to this particular movie and this particular character, that would be amazing to make a compilation because he's constantly making that reference. But what is John's favorite movie, absolutely favorite, and he gives a 10 to? That is the next question for 1 point for the $50 Amazon gift card. Favorite movie? Oh my goodness, I don't see any answers coming through. No, he gave it 10. He gave a 10 to it, Dale. What we're trying to figure out is the movie that John gave a 10 to. What is that movie and what is his favorite film? No, Mr. Stewart, you cannot guess, at least not yet. I'm going to let somebody else make a guess at a movie. If within another 10 seconds or so nobody guesses, I will let you guess, Mr. Stewart, but I can't. It's just conflict of interest, Dad. I can't give a gift card to you. Yeah, I know you know the answer. You know John. Yeah, John grew up around my family, obviously. We've been friends since high school. All right, well, I'm going to give it 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mr. Stewart, you go ahead and tell us the answer. Yes, it is hard. You would only know this if you had watched the videos with me and John. Liam Carrington, you are banished. How dare you, sir? How dare you? How dare you? How dare you, Goblet of Fire? I will... Somebody obliviate that comment from my head, please. Obliviate. But yeah, Mr. Stewart, go ahead. Memoirs of a Serial Killer? Dr. Sleep? That's a good guess, actually, Dr. Sleep. He really did enjoy it, but it's not his favorite film. There you go. Oh, Mr. Stewart, you were close, but no, that is incorrect. So close, but incorrect. You got the character right, but not the movie. So John is always referencing in Star Wars, he's like, oh, this guy's a Terminator. Oh, this guy's a Terminator. This guy's a total Terminator. Goblet of Fire is not great. Oh my goodness, people. Seriously, I'm going to have a heart attack. No, you were so close, Mr. Stewart, but no, that is not the Terminator. That character, yeah, but anybody? I mean, at this point, it's kind of given away. I'm just waiting on someone to type it in the chat. Type it in the chat. But yeah, I would love to go back and sift through my videos and grab every comment John makes about comparing a character to the Terminator. John would be hair on fire right now that nobody's getting this. So it is absolute. Okay, that's not a complete answer, Eddie Stewart. That is not a complete. You can't just type 2. Oh, Liam. No, Predator, great movie. Eddie Stewart, there we go. Ace Edits gets it. Terminator 2. Ace Edits. Not the Terminator, not number 1, Eddie Stewart, but Terminator 2. T2 Judgment Day is John's favorite film. He does give it a 10, and he makes so many Terminator references, it's not funny. So yes, that was a very hard question. That was an obscure question, kind of a hard question. I didn't think it was that hard, but I guess it was. So I'm definitely going to skip the bonus question because it's an obscure video. It's actually 2 videos. John and I did a talking head video where we discussed our top 10 favorite movie moments, and we go through, the first video is number 10 through 6, and the last video is 1 through 5, and not our favorite movies, but our favorite movie moments. And John's favorite movie moment was from Terminator 2. If any of y'all can guess that and put it in the chat at any point during this live stream, then you get 2 points. So, that being said, moving on to the next question is actually going to shift over into Harry Potter. Still about John, but for those of you that caught on to the Harry Potter reactions, the big question is going to be which character from the Harry Potter movies, and not counting Fantastic Beasts, just the Harry Potter films, all 8 of those, which character is John's favorite character? Absolute favorite character. Golly, this was probably in my opinion, some of John's best reactions. I love seeing the emotional turmoil John was going throughout these movies. Of course, us already knowing how they're going to end and John having no clue. And then you got to imagine, folks like us that read the books when they came out, and then book 6 came out, and they ended, and we're like, that seriously? Would see that twist coming? We had to wait for book 7? Liam says, Snape, and Liam, you would be 100% correct, my British English friend. So Liam for a point. I remember when Snape killed Dumbledore, and John's like, you're dead to me, Snape, you're dead to me. And then, of course, Snape redeems himself in the at the end, and John's like, oh, I always believed in Snape. I'm like, no, you didn't, bro. No, you didn't. All right, so moving on from that question, here comes the next one, which is another Harry Potter question. What is, and this is pertaining to both or all three of us, John, Jason, and me. So the three amigos sitting on the couch. Which Harry Potter film is our least favorite film? And if y'all don't get this, then I'm gonna Avada Kedavra somebody. Which Harry Potter film is our least favorite film? Oh, Dale. Dale with the quote, I understand now why you cry, but I could never do that. Oh my, Dale with the quote. You hit me in the heart, man. That was actually a great scene, but that is not John's favorite scene. Ace edits with Goblet of Fire, you would be correct. The Goblet of Dumpster Fire is absolutely our least favorite Harry Potter film. And John had not read the books, by the way. He still hasn't read number 4, and he didn't like it. I read the books and didn't like it. It makes sense why I wouldn't like it, but even John didn't like 4. 4 made no sense. Mr. Stewart, take care. We will see you tonight for New Year's celebration. You're welcome. Point to Ace. Yeah, we do. I like the book way better. John's never read the book. There's just so many continuity issues in number 4 that unless you've read the book, it makes no sense. No sense whatsoever. I like okay, Ace, I like the graveyard scene. That scene was great in number 4, but the rest of the movie was I might have to do a whole live session on ranting about Goblet of Fire. Who knows? All right, moving on to the next question. So the way the scores stand is Dale has 1 point, Liam has 1 point, and Ace Edits has 4. So we're moving on, and this one you would have never gotten, ever gotten from any of the videos you've watched. It's just something I'm going to throw out there. Just something completely throw out there. And then we're going to move on to another question while you all think about it, and somebody can throw it down in the chat. But it is this. Oh, hang on. Sorry. Where'd it go? There we go. Scratch it out. The obscure question is actually my favorite Western. Is take a guess at what my favorite Western would be of all time. If you can figure that out, you get 2 points because you would have never, ever gotten that from any film on my channel at any given point. Is what's my favorite Western. So while y'all are cogitating over that one, we're going to move on to the next trivia question, which is of all the hang on, where'd it go? Of all the Star Wars movies, actual Star Wars movies. So that's going to include 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, Solo, and Rogue One. Which of those is John's and mine and Jason's least favorite Star Wars film? So kind of following the track of Harry Potter, which was our least favorite. Which was our least favorite Star Wars film? And it's all three of us in that one. Scratch that one out. Back to the Future 3. Back to the Future 3 was rough, man. It was rough. Good story, but it was rough. And that's another movie John gives a 10 to, is Back to the Future. Not Back to the Future 3, but Back to the Future. So we're doing trivia for the $50 Amazon gift card. We've got Dale with a point, Liam with a point, Ace Edits with 4 points. Ace is definitely leading the way. No, Ace, it was not Rise of Skywalker. It was not Rise of Skywalker. Good guess, but no. Not Rise of Skywalker. Didn't much like it, but it was not Rise of Skywalker. So the two things that are floating out there right now for 2 points, what is my favorite Western? And for 1 point, what is John's least favorite? And Jason's and mine, all three of us, our least favorite Star Wars film. I mean, big hint. I went on probably about a 20-minute rant in one of my videos about this. Like, I even had the rant alert and the klaxon horn warning everybody what was about to go down. Man, Ace. Good to see you again, Ace. It's always good to see you. Phantom Menace. No, it was a good guess, Liam. Good guess. Good guess, but no. Wrong trilogy. Wrong trilogy. Ace Edits was much closer. Y'all are allowed to guess multiple times. Oh, Dale Henderson. That was a good guess. Really good guess, but no, it is not Cowboys. I did really enjoy Cowboys, but it's not Cowboys. To give you, Dale, a better True Grit. Vince Pickney? Dude. Vince Pickney? On the chat? What is up, man? Vince, if you're on the chat, that means y'all ain't busy. Y'all ain't busy, man. It's my off day. It ain't your off day. What the heck? But Vince, you got really close. True Grit's actually my favorite John Wayne film. But, yeah, Ace said it's the Rise of Skywalker reaction made it seem like it was worse. No, we hated the way it ended. But no, True Grit, Cowboys, those are great selections. I will say this. My favorite cowboy movie is, even though I enjoy more John Wayne films than any other cowboy films, it's actually not a John Wayne film. Clone Wars? Is that a movie? Oh, I don't know about that. What's up, Vince? No, I will give you a hint. It is from the final trilogy. Or the sequel trilogy, I should say. Oh, Vince Pickney. I didn't even know Vince subscribed to my YouTube channel. That's cool. Vince and I work together. We've known each other for about 6 years. Sorry, I'm getting a back channel text here. I've got to take this. I got Vince texting me direct. Oh man, sorry guys. I've got to respond to that. There we go. All right, got it. So we're getting closer. We're getting closer on the start. There we go. Ace said it's Last Jedi. The Last Jedi is absolutely, in our opinion, the worst Star Wars film. Can't stand it. Hate it. No good. I could get into the ridiculous. Ed Tollett just woke. How y'all been? Ed Tollett is in the chat. Ed, we're doing great, man. We're in the middle of doing trivia to give away a $50 Amazon gift card. And folks had no idea what our least favorite Star Wars film was. But it was Last Jedi. Someone finally got it. I think it was Ace. And then for 2 bonus points, which you'll never get from any of our videos that we've posted, is we're trying to, just something while we're doing trivia for other questions, is what's my favorite Western of all time. There we go. Dennis Phantom. Phantom Menace. We've been doing really good. So Ed Tollett, you missed the announcement earlier, but my next Patreon giveaway is that bad boy right there, the scene from Wrath of Khan, because John has now officially seen Wrath of Khan. We have started the Star Trek journey. That's going to be our big reactions going into 2023, is to boldly go, take him from Wrath of Khan all the way up to the Chris Pine Star Treks and beyond. So he'll see William Shatner, he'll see Patrick Stewart, and of course Patrick Stewart, I'm going to have to do Star Trek. And then he's going to see Chris Pine. He'll get into all of them. It's pretty cool. Never seen any of them, so he's going to be surprised. But we're going to move on. The Western movie's still floating out there. Oh, that was a good question. Ridiculous Ed Tollett. I will tell you that actually my favorite Western involves, in my opinion, what I think it to be the best Western of all time, but it involves Clint Eastwood. So moving on. Where do we go? Here is, come on. All right. Ace says, even though Rian Johnson made Last Jedi, he made a really good movie. Oh, Knives Out. I absolutely love Knives Out. So, and that's not to take away from Ryan Craig Johnson's talent. Ryan Craig Johnson's a very talented director. And so talented that he can do exactly what he wants to do. And he did exactly what he wanted to do with Last Jedi, which was completely destroy The Last Jedi. So, my contention is he did what he wanted to do. Doesn't work for Star Wars. But Knives Out, masterpiece in my opinion. I can rewatch that over. That's got high rewatchability. So, Silverado, Good, Bad, and the Ugly? No, not Good, Bad, and the Ugly. So moving on to another question while everyone's pondering the whole Western thing, which is, here's a gimme, easy one. This channel started by me having John watch things John's never
Facing expensive vitamin C creams with dull results? Olay brightens it up with Olay Vitamin C.
There we go. Had an ad just pop up randomly. But what happened is John finally introduced me to something I'd never seen. So what is it that John and Jason introduced me to that I had never seen as of late? Easy question. It's a gimme. Throw it out there. That way somebody gets an easy point. Dale, I've actually not seen Silverado. I need to watch that. Yeah, ads. I actually had had YouTube open on my other browser and didn't realize that there was a background video playing. It got to the end and started playing commercials. Yes, Ridiculous Ed Tollett for a point. Stranger Things. Absolutely, Stranger Things. So Stranger Things, if y'all have seen those reactions, you realize I don't do well with scary movies. I don't like scary movies. I don't get into scary movies. So that being said, that's going to lead me into my next question, which is regarding the scary movies, because I've got a playlist of Patrick Watches Scary Films that the guys introduced me to, a whole lot of Stephen King films. They're still trying to get me to watch Christine, which I will watch. But of the scary films that I have seen with the guys, we watched, let me try to remember. You know what? I can do it this way. I can just go to, let me see here. I can just go to my playlist and read it off to you. Content. Playlist. Patrick Watches Scary Movies. So the scary movies that I've watched are The Shining, Doctor Sleep, It Chapter 1, It Chapter 2, and The Descent. Of those reactions, there's one that I absolutely thought was a great film. I can't rewatch it because I just don't do the scary films. But of those, The Shining, Doctor Sleep, It Chapter 1, It Chapter 2, and The Descent, which one is one that I absolutely thought was an amazing movie? Yeah, Ridiculous Ed Tollett. Stranger Things only has some themes of horror in it. Elements of horror, yeah. The guys totally hoodooed me on that one. I asked them if Stranger Things was a scary television show. They're like, oh no, it's an 80s sci-fi show about D&D games and kids and alternate realities, and there's a couple elements of horror, and it just kind of just slipped that one in on me. But yeah, of those scary films that I have watched, which one is actually my favorite on that list that I thought was an amazing film? Yes, Ace Edits for another point. That would be Doctor Sleep. And yeah, in my opinion, that was a great film. It was great story. It was compelling. Really well written. I had to edit that, by the way, alone at night. It was not going well for me. But no, that was a really, really good movie. You could put Ewan McGregor on screen and I'm going to watch anything he does. I think he's a phenomenal actor. But every actor, every actress, everybody in that film, in my opinion, everybody just completely nailed their roles. There was not a wasted bit of acting anywhere in that film. It was phenomenal. Phenomenal. It was awesome. And I like the way they did the flashbacks. They didn't try to deep fake it with, Jack Nicholson and with his wife. And they didn't try to deep fake all that. They just found some actors that looked similar and stuck them in there. But yeah, Doctor Sleep was a great film. So that would be the scary movie out of that. All right. We got that one. Still haven't figured out my Western. All right, we're getting down to the last few questions. Overtime here. All right, so out of, and this is going to be 50-50. Someone's going to get it right. So it's all, get your fingers ready. Get your fingers ready, because you got to be quick. Because some of the series that we watched with John, we did the Maze Runner series and we did the Hunger Games series. Which one did John like more? You got 50-50. Someone's going to get it right. Which one did John like more? I didn't realize how long this lag is. Oh, Ridiculous Ed Tollett says A Fistful of Dollars. No, it is not that one. It is not that one. I will tell you my second favorite Western of all time is Tombstone with Val Kilmer and Kurt Russell. But for me, it's not a classic. I consider it a modern Western. This one that I'm thinking of that's my favorite is much older, and for me, it captures every element that a Western could have in it. And it's got a mountain lion. It's got a cougar just walking down the middle of a street. It's like in the background. I remember seeing that one. I'd seen this movie all the time growing up, and then one day I was like, is somebody walking a mountain lion down the street like it's a pet? And they are. Ace Edits, you are wrong, sir. It is not Maze Runner. And as such, it's the first person who types the right answer that's going to get the point, because it's not Maze Runner. Tombstone is awesome. Val did a wonderful job as Doc. I hate that Val Kilmer's lost his voice, and I think the throat cancer and all that. Val Kilmer, in my opinion, great actor. Great actor. It's so cool that he went to elocution school to learn how to have that accent. And he just completely owned that movie. Owned it. There we go. Ridiculous Ed told it with a point. It is definitely Hunger Games. So yes, we enjoyed making fun of Katniss. We enjoyed making fun of the ugly cry face. We did, but the story itself was very compelling. When it came to Maze Runner, John really liked the first one really well, and he thought that could have stood alone. He wasn't really digging the second one too much. He liked the zombies when he figured out it was zombies. The third one he thought was just completely playing ping pong, and I was with him on that, just running back and forth. Do we go to the Capitol? Do we not go to the Capitol? Do we go? Do we not go? It was kind of all over the place. But that being said, yes, he did enjoy Hunger Games more. He found it a more compelling story, something to make you think more. He actually would re-watch those, and he's looking forward to the prequel coming out. I think it's called A Song of Ice and Fire, or something. No, A Song of Ice and Fire, isn't that? I think that's Game of Thrones. I don't know what it's about. It's the Mockingjay song film that's supposed to be coming out. I totally got that wrong. All right, so moving on to another trivia question. So John's favorite was the Hunger Games. All right. Moving, we got that. We got that. Okay. I think. Yep, we're down to 3 questions. Hey, Babs is on. How's it going, Babs? You came right in the middle of us doing. We're doing trivia for the $50 Amazon gift card. Right now we've got Ace Edits with 6 points. We've got Ed Tollett with 2. We got Liam with 1, and we got Dale with 1. We got 3 questions left. 4 if you count people are trying to figure out my favorite Western, which was it was a Clint Eastwood film. Songbirds and Snakes. That's it. Songbirds and Snakes. That was, the trailer, the teaser. I'm not going to call it trailer. The teaser, it was kind of cool. But John's looking forward to that very much. We did actually go see Violent Night in theaters with Hopper. I don't know the actor's name, but Hopper from Stranger Things. That is an amazing movie. You have to watch it. It's like John Wick meets Die Hard meets Home Alone. And there's even Home Alone shenanigans and Home Alone jokes that happen in the movie. It is an amazing film. Instant Christmas classic. We absolutely loved Violent Night. And there's my free advertisement for Violent Night. Just get out of work. Babs working. Okay, working on New Year's Eve. Just get out of work. So Babs, glad that you joined us. It's good to see you. And, just for our sake, because I can't remember everybody, if you're cool with letting us know where you're from, let us know where you're from. If you're in the U.S., what state are you from? If you're from overseas, you're over in merry old England. Sorry, Ace, I know I just butchered that. But if you're British English, found out today that those are the same. Let us know. Love to know where you're from. And Ridiculous Ed Tollett for 2 points comes in clutch with the Outlaw Josie Wales. Yes, that Western for me captures every element that a Western can be. It's got some North and South elements. It's got some Native American elements. It's got some quick draw elements. It's got the whole revenge thing going on. It's got somebody walking a daggum mountain lion down the middle of the road into town where he actually shoots the guys that are coming out with, when he's coming out with groceries, and he's like, you just going to stand there and whistle Dixie, or, Anyway, Pale Rider was very close. Dale Hendrickson, very close, but it's definitely the Outlaw Josie Wales. I could watch that again and again and again and again. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Anyway, that being said, Do any of y'all have an opinion? I think that there are no more good westerns being made. None. I'm curious, what y'all think about that, because I think Tombstone honestly was the last good western made. I'd say 3:10 to Yuma with Russell Crowe. Actually, I'd throw that one out there. That was well done, but I can't think of a solid good western that's been made in the last 10 years. Maybe just westerns are done. Maybe everybody wants to see superhero movies in MCU. But I can't think of a good western. Germany. That's right. Babs is from der Bundesrepublik Deutschland. Gotcha. Okay. I can never remember where people are from. I got so many people that chat me, email me, text me, stuff like that. Moving on. I said we had the 3 questions left, 4 because of the Western thing, but where the standings are: Dale with 1 point, Ace Edits with 6, Liam with 1, and Ed Tollett with 4. So the next question is a bit of an obscure question. You might never have known this. Hang on. Yeah, Ed says we're past the era of Westerns, unfortunately. Ace says, I think nearly everything's been done with a Western, so people try to make it different. Cool, yeah. I love that when you say it. Babs, I don't know what I say that you love, but I'll say thank you. Cool. I said something she loved. Potatoes. All right, so the next question, it might be a bit obscure, but y'all know my favorite movie. Somebody throw it out there in the chat. I'm assuming you know my favorite movie. Mark McKeever! Mark McKeever! Mark McKeever is in the chat. Oh my goodness. Mark McKeever. Mark McKeever is, this guy is a master, okay? Mark McKeever, he is the keeper of the Holocron. He is the Grand Master of the Jedi Council. He's also the Dark Sith Lord of the entire universe. He is my creative content director, contributor. And, the Bundesrepublik Deutschland. Yeah, okay, yeah. And Mark McKeever says eat some crow. Of course The Crow's my favorite film, but that's not for a point. But the question's going to be about The Crow. Oh, Babs, I'm so sorry. I'm a dude, only got long hair, but I didn't mind. All I can see is the long hair and the face mask and the glasses. Babs, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. Shame on me. Shame. I see a guy like me, I'm bald and I'm old, and I see someone with long hair, and my immediate thought is this beautiful hair. Hey, it's beautiful hair. I used to have hair like that, believe it or not. Had hair down to here. It was beautiful. So my next trivia question for the $50 Amazon gift card, and for 1 point, actually I'm gonna make it worth. Yeah, I'm gonna make it worth 2 points because it's obscure, and I talked about it in one video of all the videos on my channel. It goes into the top 10 favorite movie moments. But the question is this, which is my favorite moment from The Crow. Can anybody name the moment? Babs, you're a great sport. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And Babs, kind of in my defense, I was in the military with a woman named Barbara Ann. That was actually her real name was Barbara Ann, and she went by Babs. So I hear Babs, and that's immediately with what my mind went to. Old with a lot of youthful energy. Old? Yeah, I'm old. I'm getting there. But yeah, so The Crow's got a ton of moments, and this moment is my favorite moment. It speaks to me. I found it just the way they fit it into the film. I was like, oh, they pulled that out. I didn't see that coming. And then while everybody's thinking about favorite Crow moments, what we will go on is to... Where's it at? My favorite moment is the beginning of the end credits. Mark McKeever, you better not be talking about The Crow. You better not. If you talk about The Crow, me and you we're gonna fight in the parking lot later. Guitar on the Rooftop. Oh, Ed Tollett, that is a great scene. That is a great scene, but that is not my favorite scene. Yeah, and you're right. It's like what's up with him playing Guitar on the Rooftop? But the Guitar on the Rooftop, that was great. It spoke to the rock and roll. It spoke to, they were going for the '90s rock, and and all that, but it's actually it's a quote that he makes is what really speaks to me, and like for me it brings the art into the movie. Yeah, Mark McKeever's laughing. Yeah. Well, and maybe he's talking about my videos because the beginning of the end credits is always featuring Mark McKeever. So maybe that's what he's talking about. But anyway, going back to the least favorite things. So we've got John's least favorite Harry Potter film. We've got his least favorite Star Wars film. We've got his favorite Star Wars character. But now, what I'd like to know is if y'all can tell me, that is a great scene, Ed told it. If y'all can tell me what his least favorite Star Wars character is. It can't rain all the time. No, it can't. Unless you're in Seattle, then it can. It can. I went on vacation there once, and it rained the entire time. Rained the entire time. Here we go. But yeah, John's least favorite Star Wars character. Like, he will fight me if I bring this character up. Absolutely fight me. That's the second to last question. Of course, you know, Jar Jar. Ace edits for the point. Puts him up to 7. Jar Jar Binks is John's least favorite character. I dare say it's probably everybody's least favorite character. Which is why, if you haven't seen my 12 Days of Sithness video, please go watch it. That song was 3 years in the making. It took me 3 years to come up with all the different days of Christmas and make them rhyme with the original song. And day 5, spoiler alert, is not 5 golden rings. It is a dead Jar Jar Binks. So check that video out because I call that my magnum opus of 2022. Bless my kids' hearts. My kids are 5 and 3, and for the last 3 years, when I rock them to sleep, I've been singing that song and practicing singing to them, coming up with different phrases for the days of the Sithmas song. But yeah, so that's it. We've got one more question left, plus the crazy obscure crow question, which is going to be 2 points. But so the last question's got to do with a cameo appearance from Cameo, actually, from the app Cameo, from the service Cameo, when we did the Hogwarts, was it Hogwarts Reunion? Return to Hogwarts. We did a reaction to Return to Hogwarts, which actually on Patreon, you can get a link to the entire unedited reaction to that video that we did. I've got the entire, like, not edited down. It's the whole length reaction. But there was a cameo that one of the Harry Potter world actors made on our channel for John and Jason. And tell me if you can name who did the cameo and actually is on my channel talking to the guys. And full disclosure on that, I did pay for that service. And he was a class act too. I mean, he turned it around in one day. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, the last question, other than the crow thing floating around out there, is who made the cameo on our reaction from the Harry Potter cast to talk to John and Jason. I told you I was going to pick some hard trivia today. I just don't even like seeing the name Jar Jar on my phone, like, at all. It's kind of crazy. I got to look at the actual chat on my phone because the chat feature on my live stream doesn't work. You got it, Ace. You got it. Bonus point, what character does he play? Anybody can answer that one. Bonus point, what character does he play in Harry Potter? Make sure I get this right. Yep, I got it right. Just making sure. Because knowing me, I'm probably going to get it wrong. Oh my goodness, Ace edits. And see, Ace, this is how long Ace has known me. He knows that if he calls football, and not soccer, then I'm not going to know what he's talking about. Ridiculous Ed Tullett gets the extra point. Yes, it is George Weasley. So that's the way we remember it. Fred's dead. George doesn't have an ear. That doesn't rhyme, but hey, it works. All right. Well, we've only got the one trivia question floating around out there, and it's worth only 2 points, which means that even if Ed were the one to get it, then still he wouldn't win because that would put him at 7 to Ace's 8. So George or Fred, not sure which one. Yep. Gred and Forge. Yeah, exactly. But yeah. So ultimately, once I read on how to remember which Weasley twin is which, it makes sense because Fred's dead. And George lost an ear. And the way I know that is King George of England, Ace Edits better know this, King George was deaf in one ear. He had a bad ear. He was deaf. And Fred, I want to say predecessor, maybe not. Anyway, Fred, died early, like really young. So that's how I'm able to remember it. I don't know if J.K. Rowling did that on purpose, but of course she is from England, so maybe she did. Well, I'll go ahead and give away the favorite Crow movie moment, but if you want to have some fun and break away from just the traditional reaction of me and the guy sitting on the couch, there's 2 videos we did way back in the beginning when we were still in the middle of Star Wars called Top 10 Favorite Movie Moments. We get a part 1 and 2 because it was going to be so long we had to split it up. But we go through our favorite movie moments. John's favorite movie moment comes from his favorite movie, Terminator 2. And the moment is the motorcycle chase when the motorcycle jumps off while the truck's chasing the dirt bike, and that whole chase scene, that's John's favorite. My favorite movie moment does come from my favorite movie, The Crow, and it's when Brandon Lee walks into the pawn shop and quotes Edgar Allan Poe, and suddenly I heard a tapping, as of someone gently rapping on my chamber door. You heard me rapping, right? Dale, have a good one. Dale, gotta go. Dale, I appreciate you coming in. It's always good to see you. Be safe out there driving. But yeah, Ace says he did not know that. Ace, we're going to have to revoke your British citizenship because you did not know that. Oh my goodness, Ace. Don't start asking me trivia about America. But, no, so my favorite moment was when he comes in quoting Edgar Allan Poe and the crow flying in over his shoulder, and all I could think is, quoth the raven nevermore, which, trivia, fun point about the crow, they never used a single crow in the making of the movie The Crow. They were all ravens, like really big blackbirds, because crows are just too small and not as well trainable as ravens are. Crows and ravens, smartest birds out there. We won't talk about owls. They're winged spawns of Satan and devil birds. I hate owls. They freak me out. Yet I'm a Harry Potter fan. Go figure. So, Ace Edits, do me a favor, make sure you email me at the email that I pinned up in the comments. Any of y'all can email me at that anytime you want. You don't just have to, of course, please leave comments on the videos. It always helps to leave a comment. Of course, we love subscribers, but what I've found helps grow the channel the most and helps grow what we're doing is when people comment. Commenting actually brings engagement to the channel, and I love interacting with all of you. You can go back on my channel, and it's going to be hard for you to find somewhere that doesn't comment. Yeah, ravens are smart. It's going to be hard to find me not commenting with somebody. I love interacting with people. I may not get to it immediately, but I'm sure there's a few people out there I've missed, but for the most part, I will get to everybody, and I will comment and interact with everybody. I don't have a channel manager. I don't have someone doing that for me. I do have a mod. I've got, Mark McKeever's my first mod. I've got a couple other mods out there, like Kat and Darth Billiam, in comic books. So it's one of those things where I love the interaction. I love like the discussion we had today about Superman. That for me is what this is all about, and I appreciate that when we had that open discussion that there was no pointing fingers and calling people stupid. So end of the day, 2023 is rolling up. We're going to boldly go into some Star Trek reactions. So we got a lot of movies there because we've got the 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 Star Trek. So that's 5 films. And then we've got Generations, and then we got 3 more Star Trek films. So there's 9. And then we got 3 more Chris Pine Star Trek films. So we got 12 films we got to get through. much like Star Wars. So this will be the year of Star Trek. We'll still be watching Andor, and we'll still be watching, oh good gracious, Stranger Things season 2. At some point we'll start that, but those aren't going anywhere. Plenty of things to do. The other night we actually sat John down and finally we just wanted to have a guys night, just a dudes night, nothing, no agenda, and we watched King Arthur Legend of the Sword, by Guy Ritchie, which I happen to really enjoy. Hopefully there's enough good usable footage on that one that I can edit. But oh yeah, Mark McKeever, you missed a huge Superman chat, and I was hoping you were here for that. I made my dissertation and my argument about a particular scene from Man of Steel and why I think it works, why everybody else hates it. So do I have anything planned for New Year's? No. Well, yeah. So my dad was in the chat earlier. Mark McKeever, you missed him. Dad did say hi, though. Dad was in the chat earlier. We've invited him and my mom over to hang out with us for New Year's. I always have sparkling grape juice, and we play board games and card games. We'll be playing a Ticket to Ride. It's like this train building game, like train routes. We got the European expansion, so we're going to be over in your neck of the woods, Babs and Ace Edits, playing a board game. And it's a pretty fun game, pretty simple for everyone to pick up on, but it's always been tradition in my family that New Year's we used to play Pictionary, and then we played Cranium, then it was trivia games, and now it's just whatever game everybody wants to play. But we all play a game, we bring in the new year, we have some sparkling grape juice, which is what I drink, and because I don't actually, for those of you that have known me, been around for a while, 16 years sober as of this past September, so I ain't touching the stuff. That being said, that's really kind of low key, you know. Let my folks hang out with my kids because I love watching them be grandparents, and bring in the new year. That's pretty much about it. It's pretty low key. I don't go out anymore. I'm getting too old for all that. That's for young people. That being said, I can't thank you all enough. I want to throw you some stats here really quick, if that's okay. Because these stats, you know, I owe it to y'all actually. And let me go down here. So, in 2022, 986,900 total views, 2.4 million minutes of watch time, 48,000 likes. Top viewed videos this year were Hunger Games reaction to the first Hunger Games, Return to Hogwarts, and the Catching Fire reaction. Started getting into shorts. My shorts views were 784,000. So that Darth Vader helmet short that I did, evidently everybody loved that one. And as far as live stream minutes, we won't get into that, live stream views, but the point being is, I mean, good gracious, 48,000 likes and 2.4 million minutes of watch time. I mean, can you believe it? 2.5 years ago? 2.5 years ago? 2.5 years ago, I think I had 10 of you that were hanging out with me watching Star Wars, and, you know, we were trying to scrounge money together and throw it out so where I could get better mics and better cameras. And the other day I started with Rogue One and went all the way up into Stranger Things and kept watching the video quality and the sound quality, and oh my goodness, those first reactions were cringe. They were cringe. Oh my goodness. But that being said, Ace Edits, please email me. Let me check to make sure you have emailed me. Come on. Ace Edits. Got it. I see it right there. Ace, that way I could get you the $50 Amazon gift card. Congratulations on that. And you know the phrase, stay nerdy with it. Y'all rock. Happy New Year. We'll see you in New Year with some Star Trek. Take care now.